Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for continuation of our discussion of Dhruva Maharaj pastime. So we are into the last portion of this pastime where Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead in the 12th chapter. So it's very interesting that we are discussing this pastime in this particular time of the year, because when you will see Falashruti, you will see that the month of Shravan, if someone hears or recites this, it is there. So fortunately, we are discussing that only in the month of Shravan only. So it is there in Falashruti. And I think last two weekends I was in Kanpur, where nearby in Bithur, this whole pastime took place of Dhruva. Means not whole, but some part where Suniti would stay. It's a fortune to be able to think and hear and chant the pastime in the right time at the right place as well. Of course, now I'm back in UCC. So, but the time is more wonderful now in the sense of the month. So, with that reflection, so always we do first reflection on glories of Bhagavatam and some reflections from your side from what we discussed in the previous sessions. So, first let us see the glory of Bhagavatam from this very section. A person who reads Bhagavatam or studies Bhagavatam or hears Bhagavatam, the symptom is his aspirations become very clear. So, by hearing about personal Bhagavat, person Bhagavat, so you see, yeah, this is the verse which shows the Dhruva Maharaj aspirations. Yeah, I think 10th verse on. Yeah. So, 8th verse, I think here only we have to begin, but that's the glory of Bhagavatam as well. The text 8, I think you are about to see. सराजराजेन वराय चोदित मैत्रेय उवाच सराजराजेन वराय चोदितो ध्रुवो महाभागवतो महामतिः हरौ सवव्रे चलितां स्मृतिं यया तरन्तयत्नेन दुरन्त्ययन्तमः. So here we will come to the context, but in simple, last time we discussed that how Kuvera personally came. Manu instructed him to beg forgiveness from Kuvera immediately, and Kuvera happens to come personally. And he speaks to him, he encourages him, and then Kuvera says, I am pleased with you. The person who controls the wealth of entire 14 worlds is saying, I am pleased with you, please ask for benediction. And what did Dhruva Maharaj ask? That is given in this verse. Harau savavre achalitam smritim yaya. So this is the glory of Bhagavatam, that dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam safa. That this Bhagavatam kicks out all the cheating religions, including the desire for moksha, not to speak of anything else of this world. So that is the subject matter of Bhagavatam, and that is the subject matter of aspiration of a person Bhagavat. So that's what Dhruva Maharaj is aspiring. Earlier, however, Dhruva Maharaj had different aspirations, isn't it? But he associated with person Bhagavat by instruction of a proper Shiksha Guru in terms of Suniti, who was also practitioner of pure devotional service. So that is the only way to reach person Bhagavat. And in book Bhagavat, we can understand who is person Bhagavat. And from hearing from person Bhagavat, we can understand what is the depth of Bhagavat. So that's how these two are always interdependent, and they enhance our Krishna consciousness. And the essence of practice of bhakti is to associate with these two and chant the holy name in right spirit. Because we're able to chant when we hear about person Bhagavat and Buddha. So that's the beauty of aspiration of Dhruva Maharaj. Now over to you. Some devotees, they may share something from the previous remembrances of previous weekend sessions. Those are the present. Anyone, few devotees want to express themselves? Some of you, please go ahead. It will be encouraging. For those who came, it will be reminder, especially for me also. And for those who could not attend because of some genuine reasons, for them also it will be helpful. So for please share something if you have any remembrances. Anyone wants to share? And I request that please give your darshan to other devotees. It will be wonderful. Yes, anyone wants to share something? What we discussed last time. As always, Mataji shares. Today you want to share something? Shobha Lakshmi Mataji always begins sharing. I remember. Hmm? Or someone else wants to share? Yes, Madhu. Yes.
Prabhuji, we discussed that desire has to be purified. Means we saw about Avanti Brahman. So the reason of all distress is mind. That is what he concluded. And our desire has to be purified. And the ultimate cause of everything is the Supreme Lord, but he is avyakta. So it's not possible to understand him by pratyaksha praman. And he's avyakta and aprameya. So aprameya means immeasurable and avyakta means unrevealed. So he is the ashraya of all shaktis.
Yes.
And we cannot understand the purpose of his actions. So why he does what he does is very difficult to know.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And because he is the origin, so even the devatas cannot understand him because he was there present before them also. So we
Yes.
don't have to, we should not try to understand the Lord. We just have to try to fulfill his wish.
Yes, Mataji. Very nice. Thank you. So many important points you shared. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. Anyone else wants to share something? Some reflections, some remembrances, some reminisce. You are reminiscing about Dhruva Maharaj.
So I think we discussed few examples
Yes.
of
Yes.
devotees who got angry or had emotions even
Hmm.
after having high level of self-realization.
Yes.
So we saw the example of Arjuna hearing after Bhagavad Gita, still after his son's death, Abhimanyu, he was having that emotions. Same for Dhruva, same for Prachetas, and I think you also shared the example of Draupadi.
Draupadi, Sachimata also after one
Yeah.
see that. Yes, so devotee, even perfected devotee is full of emotions. He is not hard-hearted that someone leaves body or something happens. So he's full of emotions, and that time also he needs some association to actually properly situate himself back to normal. Right? Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit was there, to handle his emotions at a very high level. So we did saw that very another important point you said that how tattva is important. So Manu has to speak tattva, seeing his face. So to rightly control the emotions and deal with the situation. So yes, bro. Thank you. So let us go further in our discussion. So I think we had already begun the chapter, right? Dhruva Maharaj going back to Godhead, and first 7, 8 verses we discussed.
I think, bro, we have discussed eight or seven we have discussed, I think.
Yeah, till 7. That Kovera comes.
Yeah, yeah, and he appreciates the Dhruva Maharaj for not getting envy and all this.
Yeah, and he says, neither you have killed them, neither
Yeah.
neither you have killed Yaksha, neither Yaksha has killed Uttam. It's all happening by Daiva and etc. And you have given up something very difficult to give up. That is what? The negativity or Vairam. Dustejam, like that. No? He says, I am very pleased with you that you have given up Yattattvam Pitamaha Adesha Vairam. Vairam means enmity. You have given up on the instruction of your great grandfather. I am very pleased because it's very difficult to give up this any negative feeling towards anyone, enmity. So actually, it's very difficult. You can see wars go on because of that revengeful enmity which remains over the generations. What to speak of one person? Very difficult to give up. But he is saying very nicely. But one striking point for me was the mature guidance by Manu in terms of adjusting his emotions by naturally guiding him and reminding him of his devotional disposition previously. And this doesn't suit you as, and he's taking that you are our family's lotus. No, how can you behave like this? Atirosh, please give up that. So that, and then he speaks tattva, some 10 verses about how the karma is in control through the Supreme Lord, through the energy. Actually, the last part is most amazing. And last part, he tells him that, see, you have offended Kuvera. Now you have to follow the remedy of that offense to Kuvera by going and falling at its feet and speaking some sweet words. So actually, this is a mature guidance because he knows what is important in devotional service and what is impediment in devotional service. So this is Manu Maharaj. He is telling him how you do. Now you have displeased Kuvera, whose followers you have killed. Now you go and speak to him. This text 34. Tam prasadaya. You satisfy him. What's Ashu? Immediately. When I should go? Right now. Immediately. Ashu. How I should do? Sanatyam. Means first you offered obeisances. Prashaya. Prashaya Sanatya. Not just, sometimes you officially offer obeisances, but in heart you have all no respect. No, not like that. Genuine Prashraya Sanatya and Uktibihi means you should speak. You should immediately pacify Kuswara with gentle words and prayers. Thus, his wrath may not affect our family because that is Kshatriya family, so it will not affect. So, this is actually the very amazing. That's why we are, Manu is, this Manu is our Mahajan. Mahajano yena gata swapanta. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya. So he knows the Dharma Tattva and he is guiding so beautifully. And so that's how the beauty is he doesn't have to go to Kuvera, Kuvera comes to him because he has accepted his mistake, he wants to go. And then Kuvera also is happy with him. So that's how again you can see the same disposition. Anyone who pleases the Supreme Lord, everyone is pleased with him. So same thing happened earlier. Suruchi came and embraced him, right? And now having done the mistake, apparently, now he agreed the mistake, he stopped the action and he really felt inappropriateness. So Kuvera comes to him instead of he going to Kuvera. Kuvera is very happy and now, and last verse, the seventh verse, Kuvera is saying, Runihi kamam drupoyan manogatam. Manogatam kamam runihi. Please ask for whatever is there in your heart. मत्तस्तमौतानपदे अविशङ्कितः वरं वराहो अम्बुजनाभपादयोरनन्तत्वां वयमङ्गशुश्रुम. So my dear Dhruva Maharaj, son of Uttanapad, we have heard that you have constantly engaged in transcendental loving service to the Lord, who is known for his lotus never. So Kuvera is also remembering his pure devotional service, and now he is saying, "You are therefore worthy to take all benediction from us." So Kuvera is in Vatsalya Bhav, no? He wants to give. And Kuvera can give, right? In this world, everything is wealth. So he has real wealth. It's not the current wealth of digital money. Kuvera has true wealth in its true sense. Please therefore ask without hesitation whatever benediction you want from me. So like that he is saying, and text 8 onwards, let us begin today. And that was the glory of Bhagavatam. मैत्रेय उवाच सराजराजेन पराय चोदितो वो महाभागवतो महामतिः हरौ सबव्रे चलतां स्मृतिं यया तरद्ययत्नेन दुरत्ययं तमः. Yeah, someone can begin, read 5 verses. Translation.
The great sage Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, when thus asked to accept a benediction from Kuvera, the Yakshara, the king of Yakshas, Dhruv Maharaj, the most elevated pure devotee, who was an intelligent, thoughtful king, begged that he might have unflinching faith in and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For thus a person can cross over the ocean of license very easily, although it is very difficult for others to cross."
Yeah. So this ocean of material existence, earlier also we discussed, right? What is it made up of? It is made up of material desire. But he is asking for something which is pure. So the ocean of material desire, ocean of material existence becomes very small. Right? So that's what is told. So Prabhupada glorifies the deep aspiration, pure aspiration of Dhruva Maharaj, saying that dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So he is not even desiring moksha, what to speak of any other purushartha. He doesn't want, it's like Kapil Muni saying, no? That Vina mat sevanam jana. They don't even ask for 5 muktis, what to speak of impersonal liberation. So Dhruva Maharaj wanted benediction which surpasses even highest purushartha, that is moksha. Prema pumartho maha, panchama purushartha. That's what Prabhupada is saying. This is Pancham Purusartha stage. That simply engaging in devotional service to the Lord. Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhavatad Bhakti Rahata. I don't want to even go back to spiritual work. I can be here also. Becomes very insignificant for his eyes. So he quotes a beautiful verse of Prabodhanand Saraswati. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate Nidhimahindradishcha Kitayate. One who has received the grants of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his experiences are explained here. So what is that whole material world which Dukkhalayam, which appears Sukhalayam for you? Vidhi Mahindradishya Kitayate. He thinks that the posts of Indra and the pleasures and the dispositions and the respect, it's all like insect. Kitayate. Durdantendriya Kala Sarpa Patali Protkhata Damstrayat. Yogis endeavor to control senses, Prabhupada is telling, by artificially controlling their senses. But for devotees, there is no problem in controlling their senses because they don't control their senses, they engage their senses. Means what? The serpents, senses are compared to serpents. So serpents doesn't have the poison. Their poisonous teeth are removed. So they keep continuing their engagements in Krishna consciousness. Protkhata damstraya. And how it starts? Kaivalyam narakayat. For him, the impersonal liberation is like hellish. Etc. So Prabhupada writes all these things. And how he considers Duddhanta Indriya Kala Sarpa. Kaivalyam narakayat. Tridashaka pura akasha pushpayate. That's how he Prabhupada begins. So Tridashaka pur means these heavenly planets and the sense gratification which is available there. For him, it is like a willow wisp or Akasha Pushpa. So now it's a rainy season. So there nice cloud formation happens, and for some time you can see a very beautiful shape. So does it last long? No. So there is no value for that. So that's how Srila Prabhupada Saraswati has analyzed all kinds of benediction available in this world. And he has clearly declared that for a pure devotee, there are all of no significance whatsoever. So it's a very high level of consciousness. However, this is what we aspire for. And that he says, Yad karunya kataksha vaibhavatam tameva gauram stuma. So, this is possible by the merciful glance, sidelong glance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's what is our aspiration. Then Prabhupada continues to say about how he was Mahamati. So anyone who is first class devotee must be first class intelligent person, therefore not interested in any kind of benediction within this material. So actually intelligence, once I think very nicely he was saying, Paramvijay Bhakti Padma Saurapacharya, that a true intelligent person is seeking something which is permanent. And he can easily avoid some allurements if they are non-permanent. So that's what is. So this is not material intelligence. I was in IISc Bangalore, and there are so many, so to say, intelligent on metal platform. They are breaking their head without knowing the goal of life. So that is not what is talked about here. The spiritual intelligence means what? Spiritual intelligence means that intelligence by which we can use everything, including our own abilities and others' abilities in Krishna's service. So that is spiritual intelligence. So that's what Mahamatihi, Mahabhagavato Mahamati, like that is glorified. So Dhruva Maharaj is, he would have asked Kuvera, like Kuvera is having so much riches. So why he didn't ask like that? Prabhupada is saying. So Kuvera, the treasurer of demigod, whose only business is to supply immense riches to persons within this materialistic world. So he is described as the king of kings. Saraja Rajena. So why king of kings? Because kings become king because of him. Unless one is blessed by Kuvera, one cannot become a king. The king of kings personally offered Dhruva Maharaj an amount of riches, but they declined to accept them. He is described there as Mahamati. So actually these aspirations are to be followed and prayed for. Although we may have material desires, we have to deal with material desires, as we discussed before. We cannot kill them, we cannot fulfill them. So we have to deal with them. And we have to deal in a not artificial way like pratyahar and all that, like yogis do, but as a devotees. So devotees by engagement, not escaping, not enjoying. So there are so many beautiful songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Actually, in their prayers, if you see, first they tell what they don't want, and then they tell what they want. You know, this is a very brilliant way of praying. So Lord becomes very clear that what is your desire. At least what you don't desire is also a very important thing to express to the Supreme Lord. So many prayers are there like that, right? Nana kaprishtam na chaparameshtham na sarvabhaumam na rasadipatya na yoga siddhim apunarbhavanva. What is the manovarandakshad drikshate tvam, or I think some other word is there. So these include all the benedictions within and without in the material world. So this verse is no, 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 everything is no. I don't want pleasures. No Sarvabhaum means the king of the earth, Bhumandala. I don't want to become Indra. I don't want Naka Prishtam means not even Brahma. Sorry, not even Brahma. Parameshtham is Brahma. No. Na Sarvabhaumam, na Rasadhipatyam means I don't want to enjoy. So there are heavens, three heavens in this world. One is Bhauma Swarga, one is Divya Swarga, the one is Bila Swarga. I don't want any of these three. And I don't want even liberation. And so and that samanjasatva virahaya kamsha. So that is very nice. Vitarasura is saying samanjas. My dear Lord, you are samanjas. Just as Kuvera here can award any amount of riches, but he is not asking for. Similarly, Vitarasura is addressing Lord as samanjas. What is meaning of samanjas? Some of you might have heard. Na? Samanjasatva virahaya kamsha. What is meaning of that word samanjas? What Srila Prabhupada says here.
Understanding.
Yeah, that is there. Understanding is there. But in that context, the meaning is little different. That he's saying no, 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 all that. So, samanjas means giver of all opportunities. He can give you anything and everything. That's how he is praying. Vittarasura is saying, my dear Lord, you are giver of all opportunities. But I don't want any opportunity from you. You are capable, but I am not capable to handle that. I will forget you. So I don't want. So that is samanjas. If you see, this is Chatushloki Bhagavatam according to I think Vallabhacharya. This is 6.11.23, 24 or whatever. Yeah, you can see here. So, samanjas, you can see. So this is the verse. So this verse, Prabhu's, this verse comes thrice in Srimad Bhagavatam. One is here, other is the verse spoken by these 16,108 queens, their aspiration, and Krishna personally speaks about his devotion in 11th canto. So same verse. Practically last line is little different, that's all. So three times some verse comes in Bhagavatam. So very important, right? And it is in prayers. Prayers of Bhagavatam are essence of Bhagavatam. And these are all prayers actually. So here the word samanjas is sambodhan. Sambodhing is using. Samanjas, a source of all opportunities. So you can give any opportunity and everything. But I don't want anything from you. So that is what is speciality of. So these aspirations are very important to be properly expressed and cultivated. And so that's how it's the whole Mahaprakash Leela is not for these people. They don't want anything, but Lord is showing that see this is what my devotee means. That I am ready to give him and I want to give something, but like person like Kolavicha Shidhar says to the Supreme Lord, my dear Lord, don't become agitated. I don't want anything. So like that. So Mahaprakash Leela is complete description of this kind of disposition of a devotee. And Lord likes to hear that. That's why he asks. This is told by Kapil Muni. But Kapil Muni says, Pruhaniyam Vadanti. Means I ask them, please ask for benediction. And they say, I don't want any benediction. And this is very pleasing to the Supreme Lord. That's why he asks. And same thing he asked Prahlad Maharaj also. Prahlad Maharaj also asked, please ask for some benediction. He says, I don't want anything. I am not a merchant to ask something from. So that's how these kind of aspirations are there. They are very exalted. However, Srimad Bhagavatam also gives the verse Akama Sarva Kamo Va Moksha Kama Udaradhihi Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purushaparam. So Dhruva Maharaj is the best example that he had a great desire in this material. But because he practiced Tivra Bhakti under instruction of pure devotee, he became pure. So we also should make sure that we try to execute the order of pure devotee. Secondly, we honestly express our desires to the pure devotee. we should not be artificial. No, we should be honest, right? Because we should not go to any other door other than Supreme Lord, whatever we have. Especially Prabhupada writes, I think, where in Kunti Maharani prayers he writes that householders, especially because they are into so many duties and responsibilities which are inevitable, and so they may ask sometimes some benedictions like Kunti Maharani is asking, no? That you protected my children and now you are going away. Now they are going to attack us again. And who will protect? In that context, I think Prabhupada writes that devotees also pray. So we should pray and we should try to do pure abhideya. The prayojana may be having mixture because of our millions of lives, impressions and experiences. But we should try to practice at least abhideya purely, tivrena bhakti yoga. Right? So that's how Prabhupada is glorified. And if you see this kind of aspiration, what is his aspiration? Constant remembrance. Harau vaure achalitam smriti. Means what? I want constant remembrance of the Supreme. So just the other day I was in GV where Param Puja Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj was telling about three levels of devotees. He was speaking to the gathering of the Western wing brahmacharis, around 5,500 brahmacharis together. So brilliantly he spoke. He was saying, how many of you constantly are thinking about the beautiful form of the Supreme Lord? So that is what is the cadre of such devotee. Constant, unflinching faith and in remembrance of Supreme. So this kind of aspirations are there all throughout. Prithu Maharaj is asking for that. And that's why he's asking for the ears to hear from pure devotee. Prahlad Maharaj and so on. Even Dhruva Maharaj. Especially Sudama flourished prayed something similar. Also, when Supreme Lord visited his house personally without invitation, while he entered Mathura, so the Supreme Lord entered the house of Sudama flourished, and he also asks some similar benedictions. Just thinking, showing that verse. Yeah, that is 10:41:15. From 1:15. So there he is asking for a very nice prayer. This is an ideal prayer which we can think of. This is 10th canto, 41 chapter. This verse is somewhere last here. Yeah, you can see sopi vauvre chalam bhaktim tasmin nevakhil tad bhakte chu sauhardam rute chu chadayam param. Sudama chose unshakable devotion for Krishna, the supreme soul of all existence, friendship with his devotees and transcendental compassion for living entities. Because Lord wanted to give him something. So I think that is the previous verse. Two lords then offered the surrendered Sudama, who was bowing down before them, whatever benediction he desired. Ask, man ki baat bolo, like that here. So Sudama is asking this. This is a very brilliant prayer actually. To ask for. So this text 8. Going further.
Prabhuji, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, Prabhu.
My question is, Prabhu, this Kubera, he's been appreciated a lot. He has benediction because of his people get the kingly offers and all the things. My question is, Dhruva Maharaj is asking that give me the constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord, unflinching faith. Does he has that? Kubera has that? So he's asking. from
I
his
am a little fearful of this because I also have this question and I am going to write. Because next verse says that he avoided him,
Yeah, that I just saw the next question.
Yeah.
I saw the next flow. But generally, see, Kubera, we have not heard that he's a Mahabhava. I
Thank
mean to
you
say,
for
we
asking
respect.
the question, bro. I
So
have.
my point is, all the demigods are exalted and they're all devotees of the Lord. But even in that, there are cadres. And we don't hear Kubera being a great Vaishnava or a preacher as such. He may be handling a post of the treasurer that we appreciate. But Dhruva Maharaj is asking, so he has that thing. That was my desire.
Sadhu
Yeah,
Prishtam
Prabhuji,
Mahabhagam.
even I had a very similar question. Suppose we sometimes go to some demigod temple. So then if we ask them, pure devotional service to Krishna, then I have this doubt, and I think I am doing an offense that does this demigod have this, you know. So is it an offense to think like that? That means I am asking to demigod
No, no.
God, but I am internally thinking he is not having that capability, or he himself does not have that devotion, that pure level.
Actually, thinking like that in a way of judging is an offensive, but to discriminate it is not offensive.
Oh, okay.
When you put yourself, I am pure, this demigod is not pure offense because they are Vaishnavas. And their post is one full Manvantar with great responsibility and facility. They serve the Supreme Lord. They are trusted by Supreme Lord. And after the Manvantara, they go back to Godhead. That's what is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. However, if we are discriminating, there is not offense. And that is what I reflect upon. And Prabhupada writes this that a Vaishnava, he is focused on his aspiration. Like, the outside people, they go to any temple, they don't even see which is the deity, but they are very focused in what they want, right? They just close their eyes and ask for whatever they want. So similarly, devotee can go to anyone, but his aspiration is the same. Hmm. So like that kind of Prabhupada mentions. So because see, they are Vaishnavas, there is no doubt about it. They are devotees and they are trusted people who serve for one Manvantar period, which says opulence. However, it is the case that sometimes they get distracted. Hmm. And we respect that, If I am put in that position, I don't know how many times I'll get distracted, if I get such
Mm.
Kuvera's position. So that part is there, bro. Hmm. So I have this question of Kuvera, so I am going to write. Any one of you have the answer for this? Some of you might have heard from some other devotees that how
But
can
he will not
Kuvera
answer.
avoid this benediction?
He
Yes,
will not answer exactly, but what I heard, like, if he asks for a pure devotional service to a Vaishnava, either he can grant it from his capacity, otherwise he can direct it to right person. Even in our devotee circles also, we ask devotees like, please pray for me, please pray for me. Probably that also reflects on the same point. Like, if we pray to Vishnu, they will at least they can also pray. If they don't
correct.
have capacity, they can pray and
And
then.
Prabhuji, demigods are also pure devotee. No? Some demigods are mixed devotee, and some demigods are pure devotee. No? They just pose means they just
Sure,
so
that's
they can direct to the pure devotional service to the person.
yes,
I
yes.
think so.
No,
Prabhuji, I
that
had one more point here. All of these demigods have seen Lord Chaitanya. So
mm,
whoever sees Lord Chaitanya becomes pure devotee.
yeah, but I don't know when this Dhruv Maharaj pastime happened. Did he see him or not?
No. But I'm asking from my point of view. If we pray now to demigods, all of them have witnessed the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya,
I
and
think they witnessed many pastimes of Krishna also. They shower flowers. So many pastimes they witnessed.
they have witnessed.
So
So
actually, good disposition is we can ask them. But what is the doubt which Prabhu is asking, and I am also thinking is whether they are capable of blessing. Hmm? We should pray. There is no problem in praying to them. Like Katyayani, Prabhupada gives example of the gopis go to Katyayani. Next purport Prabhupada gives. So praying for is very good, but are they capable of giving? So like that. This kind of thinking is too much judgmental, but we
That is my point, bro. It becomes
just
judgmental. You know,
careful.
as soon as you know that the other person may not have that, then little, that comes. So that is why I'm feeling
That's why
little.
I'm saying, bro. Actually, Shastras speak about discrimination a lot. When you associate, you have to discriminate. Hmm? So we have to discriminate. So in that sense, if we discriminate, then there is no problem. Hmm? Because we are not judging them. There is no disrespect. See, offense means disrespect. Hmm. That's when we are disrespecting their position, that is the beginning of offense. That's why we don't criticize demigods, neither we praise demigods in terms of they are the highest or what. But we try to know who is who clearly, so that we ask for.
So can we say that we can ask from demigods something like, please make me humble, please give me service attitude, something like that.
Why
Where we are
not this?
confident which certainly they can bestow on us.
No, we can ask this. Bhagavatam, Dhruva Maharaj is asking why we should not follow the footsteps of Dhruva Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj.
Yes. Because that's the whole point of becoming humble. Why? Because I want to fix mind on Krishna. That's what he's asking for. Right?
Hmm.
All other things. So that's what I feel that the devotees, he's more concerned about what are his aspirations, and whenever he feels there is some ability that I will get some blessings of this person who is connected to Lord, maybe I will pray. Okay, you give. Hmm? So Dhruva,
Prabhuji, in this, I have an important pastime to share. One
yes.
time, Dwarkadish Prabhu, I don't remember the exact thing, was asking a question with
Hmm.
great sincerity.
Hmm.
And Maharaj answered, I don't know if others can also corroborate, that, Maharaj appreciated the sincerity. And he said, even if you ask with sincerity to a crow,
Hmm.
you will still be, blessed. And you will still, ensure that Krishna will ensure that you will get the answer. So I have this understand, but I don't know if anybody remembers this. But I do remember the sincerity of prayer is most important.
Exactly, amazing. That point is taken and is very heavy. Amazing. Crow also. Then what to
Yeah,
speak
yeah,
of
yeah.
demigod?
So
Not.
I don't know, please, I would like others to corroborate if they have heard, because I have heard somewhere this time,
Hmm.
to something to this effect.
Maybe I can ask next time when I will meet him. Chapati.
Prabhuji, this question, maybe if you get sometimes an audience of Maharaj, maybe you can put this question to Maharaj.
Audience of Maharaj, there is for you it is possible. I don't know. For me, you
Krishna,
asked
not a
one
problem.
question. I had asked one question and he has answered, and now I have to follow what he has told. This life
Yeah.
will go in that.
Thank you.
So you can ask. Anyway.
Prabhuji, actually ask something.
Yes, Mataji.
If like when we are not well, so we go to the doctor. So like that, can we go to demigod like the sun and all? Like if we can trust a doctor, why not a demigod?
Yes, Mataji. We all go to doctor, I think, many of us. So there is no problem even to go to demigod. The point is your bhakti becoming mixed? Hmm. Are you taking shelter of demigod? Shelter is of Krishna only, then there is no problem. In astrology, demigods, and all that. But generally, we don't recommend, like Prabhupada doesn't recommend anywhere that you worship this for this. No? Because it's that's what the way in the age of Kali, like you will see in the future verses, Dhruva Maharaj is doing all the yajnas for other demigods also. But he's getting it done because there is Praja who is not Adhikari of pure devotional service. So they are following Varnashrama and other mixed practices. But Dhruva Maharaj is facilitating them and their gradual elevation. So Dhruva Maharaj, like Bharat Maharaj, was engaged in sacrifices to demigods. Because that time the culture was such that they have to do that in terms of that there are certain praja who are not adhikari of pure devotional service. So they would do for their upliftment. But what he would think, Indraya Swaha Idam Namama. I am offering the oblation to the hand of Krishna. Hari Bol. So his pure devotion was intact. But in current day, if that can be done in ISKCON, then people will be confused thoroughly in this age of Kali. That's why Prabhupada has very strongly opposed the demigod worship, although it is recommended in scripture. Because there is likelihood of mix. What to speak of demigod worship, Mataji? Prabhupada doesn't even want other incarnations also. You know, like the Balaji which we have in ISKCON Pune is the first and the last Balaji of ISKCON Pune. You know, the GBC has told, because Balaji comes, so many things come. People want Balaji, they will get funds, but now they are not alive. No Balaji. Not even why Prabhupada installed Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Hanuman, and where did he install? What was the purpose? The purpose was not, purpose was this. This was told by Prabhupada Haldar Swami, that Prabhupada installed Ram, Sita, Lakshman, Hanuman at the places where their devotees are there, so that they will come to Krishna, like Delhi and London and so on. Right? So Prabhupada was extremely focused on Golok Vrindavan because he is from that. He writes in 18.66 that we should not even get distracted to other incarnations like Narasimha, Rama, should worship Sham Sundar Krishna. So that Ananya Bhava, Ananya Bhakti is the very, very essential part of our practice. So when I say Ananya, then our shelter, there should not be mixture in the Sadhya, there is no mixture in Aradhya, and there is no mixture in Sadhan. The process, the goal, and the worshipable deity. No mixture at all. So that's why the demigod worship is the case, Mataji. So now, if we are not taking shelter of them, but we know who is who, then we may pray to them. Which, like Mahaprabhu went to demigod temples, but what he is asking for? That is important. Shiva, there is very nice prayer to Lord Shiva. Shivashtakam by Lord Chaitanya. Amazing prayer. Actually, is worth recitation. On Shivratri, this is the best prayer to offer to Shiva or any other. Like that, there are beautiful prayers offered by this. So we can pray to these demigods and get their blessings. So these are few thoughts. So the question remains. So I will ask about the capability, because actually something similar happens in 10th canto also, that Parikshit asks that how, by what practice Yashoda could feed her breast milk to Krishna and Nand Maharaj could caress Krishna. So what is that they did? That is the question he asked, and Sukdev Goswami first half-heartedly answered that there were Dhruva and Dahara. They did lot of austerities, and Brahmaji benedicted them that you will become mother and father of Krishna in Vrindavan. So the question is raised that how can Brahma award benediction of this if he is not a person who can award that someone can become mother of Krishna? So that's why the next chapter is spoken. But Yashoda is a Nitya Siddha. No one can attain position of Yashoda. Neither Brahma can benedict anyone to take that position. So one can give what he has. No, beyond that he can't do anything. So that way my thought also was there. But Bhagavatam has next verse, you see. So we need to ask. So I'm planning to ask. I wanted to ask before your class, but I could not do that. I was planning to ask Radhesham Prabhu. So I'm going to mail and ask, and let us see what is the response. So next verse, if you see, so he says, yeah, he awarded benediction. Tasya pritena manasa tam dattaida vedastatah asheto antardadhe sopi swapuram patyapadyata. Yeah, continue.
The son of Idavida, Lord Kuvera, was very pleased and happily he gave Dhruva Maharaj the benediction he wanted. Thereafter he disappeared from Dhruva's presence and Dhruva Maharaj returned to his capital city.
Yeah, so interestingly, Kuvera is also happy. Kuvera is not feeling, "Arey kya, mere paas." No, it's like Bali Maharaj felt when Vamandev asked 3 steps. So what Bali Maharaj felt, "Arey, what is this? You are really Balish. You don't know whom you are asking for. I have 14 worlds in my hand and you are asking for 3 steps. You are really not very intelligent." So Kuvera didn't say like that. "I have so much of wealth." He was pleased actually. That shows that he knows what is right aspiration, isn't it? Because he was pleased. Pritena, tasya pritena manasa. And he happily gave. Datva a Aidavidaha. So Aidavidah, son of Idavid. So he happily gave that. So no Acharya has told anything. That's why question was there. So he was happy. So Prabhupada says the same thing. Why did Dhruva Maharaj take benediction from demigod? Kumara is one of demigods. One will have argument. The answer is that Vaishnava, there is no objection to taking benediction from demigod if it is favorable for advancing in Krishna consciousness. So actually, a Vaishnava is a beggar of blessings in his heart. He wants blessings from everyone. That's his disposition. So he doesn't think like, this person. So that's how Prabhupada is writing, very interesting. That, and again he writes, Vaishnava is not interested in asking any benediction from demigods, nor is interested in asking benediction from the Lord. So a Vaishnava is always respectful to everyone. So when Kuvera offered him benediction, he did not refuse it. So here is a secret. Means very interesting way that imagine someone asks you, please ask something, and you say, "Hey, I don't want anything." Means what? Are we respecting him? Actually, he wants to reciprocate with you. So he respected him. And what is meaning of respect? Which was told by whom? Manu Maharaj told him to satisfy him by prayers and nice words. So he respected him by, "Yes, you want to give? Please give me this." So that's how Prabhupada is writing. When Kuvera offered him, then he did not say. But he wanted something which would be favorable to his advancement in Krishna consciousness. So this is a very amazing thing which Prabhupada is bringing out here. Actually, being respectful is not just offering panchanga or ashtanga pranam or folding hands, and this is surely the case. But respectfulness means proper reciprocation. Giving audience to the person and reciprocating with him. Right? So that is the highest amount of respect. So that's what he's doing here. So text 10. Atha यजत यज्ञेशं क्रतुभिर्भूरिदक्षिणैः द्रव्यक्रिया देवतानां कर्म कर्म फलप्रदाम्. Continue.
As long as he remained at home, Dhruva Maharaj performed many great ceremonial sacrifices in order to please the enjoyer of all sacrifices, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prescribed ceremonial sacrifices are especially meant to please Lord Vishnu, who is the objective of all such sacrifices and who awards the resultant benedictions.
So here now onwards, like this section 10 to, I wanted to show that. This is 17 to, no, sorry, 10 to 16 is his glorious rule and his renunciation. So he's internally detached, externally he is acting like a king and doing all these sacrifices. Actually, if you see carefully, these are all sacrifices to the Devatas, right? But his understanding was very clear that Devata sacrifice means I am worshipping the limb of the Supreme. And he was not doing himself, he was getting it done. Actually, this is the expertise of Dhruva Maharaja's rule and his focus. So that's what is this section which we are discussing now, from 10 to 16. So 1 to 9 was Kuvera's approach and Kuvera's reciprocation. Now 10 to 16 is his glorious rule and renunciation, which was true renunciation, not external renunciation like a renunciate, like someone wearing saffron and all that. He was a king, but he was renounced, which is like Ambrish Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, and so on, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates. So that's how, so this whole purport, if you see, Prabhupada is telling about the duties. Why did Dhruva Maharaj do all these things? So because he was king. So king, he has to do these things. Because he has praja to protect. And his main protection is to have right engagements for them according to Varnashrama, and they should not do adharma. And of course, they should come to pure devotional service. But not everyone is ready, so he has to deal with them accordingly. That's how all the great souls in Bhagavatam do. So Prabhupada writes about Varnashram. He's quoting 3.9 verse, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Bhagavat Arpit Nishkama Karma Yoga. So according to 4 divisions of Varnashrama, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are especially advised to perform great ceremonial sacrifices. Right? Because they are the resource creators are Vaishyas and resource controllers are Kshatriyas. So both are important that they do this sacrifice to distribute their accumulated money liberally. So Kshatriyas accumulate by taxing and Vaishyas accumulate by doing proper occupation. So Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are supposed to earn their money accumulating great riches. Sometimes they do it by acting sinfully. Kshatriyas are meant to rule over. So what does this mean? I was just thinking, what is this? Kshatriyas are meant to rule over a country. Dhruva Maharaj, for example, in the course of ruling had to fight and kill many yakshas. Such action is necessary for Kshatriya. So he is referring to the previous action, which was apparently killing. Kshatriya should not be a coward and he should not be non-violent. To rule over the country, he has to act violent. But Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are therefore especially advised to give charity at least 50% of their accumulated. So this point Prabhupada brings out at practically so many places all throughout Bhagavatam. Maybe in Bhagavad Gita also, but Bhagavatam surely at least 3-4 places I have read. So this is actually a very important dharma of a household. What is that? Danam damascha yagyascha. Charity. Dam means sense control. And yajna. So Prabhupada writes Sankirtan yajna. And charity for Sankirtan yajna. So this is how, and in between what? The control of the senses. That is the regulated engagement of the senses. That is his Dhamma. So now I wanted to show one slide of this purport 1752. So Parikshit Maharaj is able to keep Kali at bay because of this principle, of 50% of wealth. So you can see this showing a very powerful purpose to reflect upon. So Prabhupada, so this is the context is the Kali is given places by Parikshit, but Kali is not able to have influence in his kingdom. Although he gave 4 places and then give 5th place also, where the gold is stored, right? So in that context, Prabhupada writes, very brilliant purport. He says that Rupa Goswami, we are Rupanuga, so Rupa Goswami has shown by example about how to divide his money, 50, 25, 25, etc. So then he writes something for the practical application. So someone can read this, spending 50%. Yes, continue. You're able to see the slide?
Spending 50% for the service of the Lord or for propagation of spiritual knowledge in society by way of the Sankirtan Yajna is the maximum display of human mercy. People of the world are generally in darkness regarding spiritual knowledge, especially in regard to the devotional service of the Lord, and therefore to propagate the systematic transcendental knowledge of devotional service is the greatest mercy that one can show in this world. When everyone is taught to sacrifice 50% of his accumulated gold for the Lord's service, certainly austerity, cleanliness, and mercy automatically ensue. And thus, the last three legs of the personality of religion are automatically established. When there is sufficient austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, naturally Mother Earth is completely satisfied, and there is very little chance of Kali to infiltrate the structure of human society.
Yes, so here Prabhupada is revealing very great secrets here. That the whole material world is in distress because of untrustworthy relationships around in the society, friendship, and whatever, samaj or country or whatever, in family, from family to ashram to society. So the trust is destroyed by Kali, and that trust can be reformed by this action. That Kali cannot enter when we follow these four principles. So four regulative principles have four positive connotations which are mentioned here, and they automatically ensue when when they automatically ensue when everyone is taught to sacrifice 50% for Sankirtan. So it's a very deep statement. Actually, to be very frank and honest, to say that I am saying this, but I could never give 50% of my earning when I was working, I hardly could give 10 or 15% of it, because it's not easy to give hard earned money. That's why what Prabhupada is saying, taught to, not forced to. Taught to, not pushed to give. So there should be proper education of this. Giving is not for sake of running temple. Temple will be run by Vrindavan Chandra only, or Lord. This is for proper trustworthy relationships and progress in Krishna consciousness. And this may take years. This teaching will take years. This teaching has to be presented and represented by the preacher. Like all of you are doing Bhakti vaibhav now. So you will also, you are also preachers. So this is what Prabhupada is telling us. That everyone has to be taught to begin somewhere and reach this. So it's a very powerful statement that it is taught to, not forced to, or you understand now this marathon, which marathon is going on currently, the fund collection marathon and all. So it's not about force at all here. It's taught, it's education. That this is the cause of all problem. So utilize it properly. And Prabhupada is saying that this is the greatest act of mercy. So maximum display of human mercy is when you utilize your hard-earned wealth for Sankirtan. And the essence of Sankirtan is systematic education. That's what he's telling us. So it's a very profound thing which Prabhupada is writing, and easier said than done. And sure enough that in this 50% includes, this is for Krishna, Ms. Srimad Radheshambhu says, that also includes all the expenses of family members for yatras, the altar, the festival celebration, the preaching, and the prasadam distribution which one may be doing. So this is all for Krishna. So Sankirtan, it is not just a donation. It's all expenses for Krishna conscious practice and propagation, individual and collective. So that is the secret of Kali not allowing to enter, because Kali is the cause of all problems in this. all relationships in any institution or in any family or any society are because of Kali. So it's a very essential aspect actually of, and that's why Srila Prabhupada wanted Varnashram system. Because you see, this 50%, many of us, or many of, now I am not paying tax, earlier I would pay when I was. How much percent we have to give to the government, right? The tax. So Prabhupada wanted that we should have our own society. So tax goes to the right people only. No, it doesn't go to the wrong people. Now, whether you want to give or not, you have to give, right? And that is used for wrong purposes. And of course, now fortune is there is better government, so something good also. However, when we say International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Prabhupada wanted entire society. So that includes Prabhupada desire of Varnashrama system, and the lawyers and the politicians, they will all be devotees like that. So that's what Prabhupada's desire is. It's not just creating some institution hierarchically. That is happening in last 50 years. Prabhupada wanted this. And then, then it will be mass propagation can be done. So that's how Prabhupada is saying here. They are especially advised. And then Prabhupada is writing about Yajna Dana Tapassaiva Pavanani Manishinam, that even the great souls also never give up these three. And what to speak of anyone who is aspiring to be their footsteps. So they should never give up. So for each, these things are different. So for Varnas, there is different way of charity. Tapasya is for Vanaprastha, and Brahmacharis have another way of yajna. So what is their yajna? Their yajna is to put the senses into the fire of mind control. This is their yajna. They should do this yajna. And the Grihastha yajna, this is 4.26, Prabhupada, I mean, Krishna is telling. The Grihastha yajna is to put the senses into the sense objects with regulation and instruction. So the appropriate yajna should be done. So by yajna, one will attain the purification and detachment. So that's the whole thing Prabhupada is saying. And then Prabhupada is bringing to current leaders, they are not even thinking about the current politicians. Little time to think about welfare of citizens. So they oppress heavy taxes. Actually, this is what I was saying. No? So Bhagavatam says that eventually as Kali will progress, the people will run to the forest because the government will put so much of tax that they can't exist in the city. They will run to the forest. This is 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a prediction. So people sometimes have 80-90% of income taken away. So Prabhupada is writing that time. I don't know. Are there people like that? So they are 80-90%. And these taxes lavishly spent for high salaries drawn by officers and rulers. Formerly, taxes were accumulated from the citizens were spent for performing great sacrifices as enjoined in the Vedic literature. So a sacrifice requires a lot of money actually. So they would use that money there. So Prithu Maharaj was doing like that. He would collect tax like sun evaporates the water, and he would give them proper needs, like the same sun creates a cloud and showers the rain. So that way Prithu Maharaj collected taxes and distributed the blessings through rain. So Prabhupada writes about Sankirtan Yajna. So all the family members can sit down together, simply clap their hands and chant Hare Krishna. Somehow or other, everyone can manage to perform such yajna and distribute prasad to the people in general. Actually, this is the greatest thing one can do, and it doesn't require so much of skill and ability and capacity and wealth, etc. These two things Prabhupada is emphasizing. Do loud Sankirtan and distribute prasad. Like yesterday, Parampuja Bhakti Prem Maharaj was saying there that Mahaprabhu is telling you for the householders, he was quoting some song which I don't remember. He is saying that they should do Sankirtan not inside the house. They should sit in the Dwara. Dwara means what? In the door, so that others will see and hear. And they should do Kirtan like that. So he quoted one particular song. That's what Prabhupada is saying. The Krishna consciousness movement is based on this principle. Chant Hare Krishna mantra at every moment as much as possible. So first with highest and then what we can, both inside and outside of the temples, and as far as possible distribute prasad. It's a very, very important aspect of our movement. Simply by liberal distribution of prasad and sankirtan, the whole world can become peaceful and prosperous. Can you imagine the faith of Srila Prabhupada when he is writing this statement? Just if you do two things, the whole world can become this peaceful and prosperous. He is not saying they will go back to Godhead. That is the highest. And they will become peaceful in their life and they will prosper also. So having faith on this is something very rare actually. That by giving we receive prosperity. So actually it's easier said than done as I began, right? And so Prabhupada is writing a big purport. So for as long as a life as a householder, he never spent a farthing for his son gratification. So he was a king, right? He was setting an example. He was a pure devotee, great devotee. He has nothing to do with these demigod sacrifices. But he did to set an example. So this is the level of parinishthit devotee. So he stays in the samaj to set an example. He doesn't have anything to do with samaj, but he still stays for loka sangraha, so that others get attracted, right? So karmaneva hi samsiddhim samstita janakadaya. So that's what. So karma phalapradam. So it is about demigods. So Lord only awards through demigods. That's what is Bhagavad Gita 7.20 to 24. So Lord's is a Lord's system which Lord created. So 4 verses Lord speaks in Bhagavad Gita, where he says that one who cannot worship me, at least he worships devatas who are my limbs. So that is the facility which I have created. So this is the 20th verse. I have created the facility. I give the faith to the person in the heart towards the demigod so that he can worship. That is faith also I give because I am Paramatma. And then not only faith, I give also fruits. The fruits also I only give, and but you will see that they are giving. But it's like Lord gives to them and they give to their devotee. And then Lord calls them to be foolish. Right? Alpamedasa. So this is karma phala pradam is the Supreme Lord, not the demigods. Demigods have no capacity. So he's so kind and liberal that he gives everyone full facilities to perform whatever acts one wants. Then the result of the action is also enjoyed by the living entity. So this is his pure love for living entity. Right? So if anyone wants to enjoy, he will become entangled. If anyone wants to engage in fully in devotional service, he gives that facility. Thus the Lord is karma phala prada. So it can be any. He is the giver of the fruits. So that's what Krishna tells. So this is a very confidential knowledge even told in Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter. That those who don't understand me, like avidhi purvakam word is there, right? 9th chapter. So karma phala pradam is this. Sataya shraddhaya yuktas tasya aradhanam ihate labhate cha tata kaman mayyeva vihitan hitan. I only gave the fulfillment of desire, the fruits of their action. So, but those who don't know this is, so they are avidhi purvakam worshippers. Like that Krishna says. So this is what is told here. Yepi अन्य देवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्वितः तेपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्ते avidhi. Why they are doing avidhi purvakam? What is their mistake? Like Prabhupada says to be a bribing, right? So what is their mixture? Next verse says, Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta prabhura evacha. Na tu mam abhijanati tatvenashcha chavanditi. So they don't know that I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices and I am the controller of all sacrifices. That's they don't know this in Tattvata, that's why they continue to wander. So the demigod worship which is done avidhi purvakam is criticized. But there are people in Bhagavatam who have done demigod worship vidhi purvakam. They are doing pure devotional service, like Dhruva Maharaj, Bharat Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. So they have to be in society, so they have to set an example and uplift as per the adhikar, while exemplifying in their personal life pure devotional service. So that was their position. The text 11. सर्वात्मन्यच्युते सर्वे तीव्रौघां भक्तिमुद्वहन् ददर्शात्मनि भूतेषु तमेवावस्थितं विभुम्. Yes, please continue.
Dhruva Maharaj rendered devotional service unto the Supreme, the reservoir of everything, with unrelenting force. While carrying out his devotional service to the Lord, he could see that everything is situated in him only, and that he is situated in all living entities. The Lord is called Achyuta because he never fails in his prime duty to give protection to his devotees.
Yeah. So what did he practice himself? And what did he see? So he could see the perfection, that he could see Lord in every living entity, every living entity in Lord. That's how he was able to do the previous verse. Right? What he was doing internally, Tivra Avgham Bhakti Mudva. With unrelenting force, he was practicing devotional service within. So Vishwanath Thakur writes very nicely here. You can see that because of being king, he has to do these things of demigod or sacrifices. Tan vina na rajnyaha vyavahara siddhi iti. Tad anurodhenaiva tasya yajnadi karma karanam. So actually he has, as a king, he has to do this part as a duty. But how did he do? So swa pratimurti dvareva. So this is what is meaning of what you can delegate and what you do. Like Ambrish Maharaj also did all these things, but he was himself doing pure bhakti and he was delegating these things so that things happen. Or Bharat Maharaj was doing and delegating what to delegate and what to delight. So he was delighting in Krishna consciousness, pure Krishna. But he saw his praja having different levels of adhikar. So as a duty, he did this thing. Rajnano hi deva brahmana adi stantarpakam kartum kurvant. Right? So he has to perform sacrifices to please devatas and brahmana. But he didn't have time for these things, it is said. Vastutastu sat swayam avakasham eva karmani naiva labhata iti aha. So he didn't have time for these things. These things he got it done. So pratimurti dwara. And he himself was doing pure devotional service. And what is his nature meditation? This is 4.35 fifth verse, same verse. After when we do tadvidhi pranipat paripashna seva, then Niyat Jnatva na punarvoham evam Jnasyasi Pandava. Dakshani, same thing what is told here, that one sees the Supreme Lord's presence in everyone and everyone within the Supreme. So there is no question of disrespect or disservice. That's what is. So Prabhupada also writes that it was his duty to do. Although Dhruva Maharaj performed many sacrifices as to be an exemplary king, although he was constantly engaged in bhakti, right? So that's what, so this is Matstani, this most confidential knowledge he realized actually. So this Achinta Bhed Abheda Tattva is what is very necessary, which is given in Paramaguhya Gyan in 9th chapter, which Prabhupada is quoting. And I think we saw the other day, right, that this principle is necessary to actually approach love of God. Right? So that's what is again and again established here. तमेव शीलसम्पन्नं ब्रह्मण्यं दीनवत्सलं भोक्तारं धर्मसेतूनां मेनिरे पितरं प्रजा. I think 5 verses over. Na? Someone else can read. Yes, Sachin too.
Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to the poor and innocent, and he protected religious principles. With all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens.
Yeah. So basically, his good qualities as king, saintly king, Rajarshi, are depicted here. In the Shila Sampanna and Brahmanya. Shila Sampanna means all good qualities, right? With godly qualities. Sheila, especially in dealings, actually. Sheila, Saushilya. So, and Brahmanya means he was always, as a Kshatriya, he was respectful to the Brahmana. It's a very important quality of a Kshatriya or a leader or administrator. Dina Vatsalam. And to the Dina, the poor, in terms of bhakti and knowledge, he was very compassionate. Goptaram Dharma Setuna. He protected the Dharma. Menire Pitaram Praja. Just like a father, considering I am father. Right? Although he became king in a very small age actually, but his bhav was like father because he was mature. Right? So that's the point. So Prabhupada also says it's a Rajarshi. Exemplary qualities are shown here. Not only king, but also leaders of modern democratic or impersonal government must be qualified. Then only citizens can be held. So Prabhupada compares, which already we saw. Government, current day and Brahmanyam means respectful. So who are the Brahmanas, true Brahmanas? Who are engaged in study of Vedas and they know the Supreme Lord. And because of they know the Supreme Lord, they cannot resist the propagation of Krishna consciousness. So these three things, that they know the scientific process from Shastra, means they study that and they know the process, they live the process, and Brahma Janatiti Brahmana, and then they propagate it. So that's what. So the state should be very respectful to societies that distribute love of Godhood all over the world. So Prabhupada is writing on a greater context of government. So nowadays it's happening gradually. And Dina Vatsala is compassionate. That the state head should be very kind to the innocent. But on the name of kindness, no slaughterhouses. Nowadays, so many foolish things are happening. We cannot close because so many families are dependent on the slaughterhouse. And what dependent? No, this is all dangerous. So Prabhupada is saying this thing. If we try to compare godly qualities of Dhruva Maharaj and quality of modern statements, we can see that there is no comparison on. Considering all these points, the people today have no alternative but to take to Krishna consciousness for protection of religion, life, and property. So, even if one want to become like nowadays, this Sanatani, this has come. So, Prabhupada is saying, even if you want to protect Sanatani, one has to come to Krishna consciousness. ISKCON only they have to come. That's what he is. Their own life, their own religion, and their own property. You want to protect. So these are all actually externals in one sense. But for that also, there is no alternative other than ISKCON. षट्त्रिंशद्वर्षसहस्रं शशासक्षितिमण्डलं भोगैः पुण्यक्षयं कुर्वन् अभोगैरशुभक्षयम्. Let's go. Continue.
Dhruva Maharaj ruled over this planet for 36,000 years. He diminished the reactions of pious activities by enjoyment and by practicing austerities, he diminished the inauspicious reactions.
Yeah. So very interesting principles are there in this verse. That he ruled for how much long? Shat Varsha Sahastra. 36,000, as the Lord told us. Shashasra. What? Entire Shiti. Sarvabhaumatva, actually. And what was his consciousness while doing these things, demigod sacrifices and all? Bhogai punyakshayam kurvan, abhogai ashubhakshaya. So whenever he has to accept bhoga as sense satisfaction or gratification, he saw that my punyas are getting expanded. Because the result of punya is bounding. Binding is by pleasure. Right? So punya. And by doing voluntary austerities, abhoga, so Prabhupada see, abhoga means austerities. Ashubhakshayam. So he destroyed the Ashubha reactions. Like that, he was ruling. So here, Kurvan word is there, right? Kurvan means with desiring of. Desiring what Prabhupada is by doing. So this doing means with desire of destroying. So that's how Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. So Kurvan, the present participle Kurvan has infinitive. What is meaning of it? A sense of wanting to destroy the pious activities by accepting sense gratification, and by accepting voluntary austerities, it diminished the empire, whatever the previous reaction. So this, but Dhruva Maharaj, anything was remaining by now. So Vishwanath says, however, this desire to destroy reaction is exhibited out of humility. Why? Actually, he did not have any pious or sinful reaction since he had developed love. Right? So, what does that mean? That this is what he would kind of think out of humility and so on. So, this is what is told even in Atmaram section of second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, what a person who is Chittaprajna, when he is encountered with happiness and distress, so he sees them in terms of his own karma. Right? So that's what is told him. So that's what is told. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells that. And Prabhupada writes about aspiration of devotee. A devotee, however, is not interested in enjoyment or affected by distress. Sukheshu anadvignamana, dukheshu vigataspruha, vitaraga bhaya krodha, sitadhir muni ruchyate. So what he thinks? Dukheshu anadvignamana, sukheshu vigataspruha. Means what? Whenever this thing happens to him, he gets happiness, he doesn't become too elated. He becomes distressed, he doesn't become dejected. So if someone asks him, "Hey, what is happening to you?" He will say, see, this is all effect of my previous misdeeds. Or this is my maybe effect of this. So that's how Prabhupada is writing the thought of, if when he is prosperous, he knows I am diminishing the result of my pious activities. When he is distressed, he knows this. A devotee is not concerned with enjoyment or distress, but he simply desires to execute devotional service, as stated in Bhagavata, apratihata, unchecked. So there is no unchecked, and that's how. And what is our austerities? Like now, Chaturmasya is going on. Prabhupada has not instituted that. Someone wants, they can do with blessings of their. But what Prabhupada is telling, our austerity is Ekadashi and festival fasting. Secondly, four regulative principles, which we know. And the positive connotations we saw in charity principle, right? That's what is our austerity. He engages in devotional service, which is the most pious activity. And he enjoys life without separating. So his endeavors are properly directed. एवं बहुसवं कालं महात्मा अविचिरेन्द्रियः त्रिवर्गौ अपैकं नीत्वा पुत्रायादान् नृपासनम्. Yes, please.
The self-controlled great Saul, Dhruva Maharaj, thus passed many years favorably, executing three kinds of worldly activities, namely religiosity, economic development, and satisfaction of all material desires. Thereafter, he handed over the charge of the royal throne to his son.
Yeah. So see, here his dutiful detached activity is shown. So dharma, artha, kama. Traivargika means what? Means dharma, artha, kama. He did that very properly, having passed through this. Because he is a king, he has to be doing these things. But internally he was detached. That's what Prabhupada also writes. So dutiful person does for sake of loka sangra. So that's what he did. And as soon as he understood that now through he got a son who is properly situated, just as his father as son, right? I think Uttanapat did the same thing we discussed earlier, right? Uttanapat didn't even wait for marriage of Dhruva Maharaj, right? He saw Dhruva Maharaj is capable and he just left. Now Dhruva Maharaj is following the same footsteps. As soon as he saw his son is capable, then he just left. So actually that's the proper dutifully detached person. This is the goal of practice. So perfection of materialist life is suitably attained by process of observing religious principles. So if you want to fulfill kama, he has to have artha. And how one can get artha, he has to do dharma. So that's what, this is what Prabhupada is telling. So when one does dharma, automatically he artha and kama will be taken care. So since Dhruva Maharaj was king, had to keep in his status quo, or it would not have been possible to rule over the people in general. He did it perfectly, right? So people in general means not that everyone in the praja is adhikari of bhakti or shuddha bhakti. So he was doing the needful. So as soon as he saw the grown-up son, immediately handed over. Okay, now main focus of life. So actually this is what is important. Muhurtat sarvam utsrajya avayam harim. Like that Khatwanga Nama Rajarshi. So Khatwanga Maharaj was also situated like this. So this detachment will come from dutifulness. Proper dutifully we do our duties in a devotional disposition. Then detachment is the natural. That's the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. That this detachment comes. However, the devotee is not like, he is not attached, he is not detached, but he is unattached. So that's how he continued doing that. But internally he was focused. So that's what is told here. So, and he remained with full strength of his senses like a young. He was very 36,000 years, can you imagine? But his senses were very proper still. But still he was not interested in self gratification. What? In other words, he remained self-controlled. He performed his duties perfectly according to materialistic way. That is the way of behavior of great devotees. So what is being said, this great devotee is Nirapeksha Bhakta, who is living in the Samaj but Padma Patra Ivambasa, is doing Loka Sangraha. So there are so many examples of such devotees which all of you might have seen or heard. But one thing I have heard about is this Krishna Chandra Prabhu. It's a very nice example. There can be many other examples which you may think of. There are people like that. He came to his Guru Maharaj, has said that now this is around 15-20 years back, that Maharaj, I am done with my duties. I am ready to move in. And he has how many companies and so much of business. So his son grew up, he handed over, and he came to Maharaj and expressed that now I am ready to move in. And then his spiritual master tells him that your vanaprastha is to continue what you are doing. And then he is still continuing. And he has taken up so many things in temple. Actually, when he came here, I heard his lecture. My God, how amazing it was. So such people are existing actually. And it's very, very important to have such people and see them, hear from them, and associate with them. Because there are examples. So Mahaprabhu, he told the same thing to Raghunath Das. You can see this Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhupada is quoting. Because external renunciation is not so much important as really becoming, not interested, right? So that's what is told to Raghunath Das. So Prabhupada is quoting that. So Raghunath Das Goswami was very eager to renounce and join full time. But what Mahaprabhu told him, Sthira Haya Ghare Yao Na Hao Vatul. Don't become Vatul. Vatul means like Vat means is becoming crazy. Krame Krame Paya Loka Bhava Sindhupur. Be patient and return home. Don't be crazy fellow that I want to give up and join or whatever. By you will be able to cross the ocean of material existence. So he said, don't become Batul. Don't actually even sometimes this is a case of a person who wants to renounce before even he entered, right? But there are cases like the devotees who are into Grasthashram, but they want to push off quickly. But that also is not suggested. At right time, one has to push off. Otherwise, he has to develop from within. Right? So that's what is being said by Mahaprabhu here. You can see the verse. Mahaprabhu says, what is say? मरकट वैरागी ना कर लोक दिखाया यथा योग्य विषय भूंजा अनासक्त है. You should not make yourself show border devotee and become false renunciate. For the time being, enjoy the material world in a befitting way and do not become attached to it. So actually, this is what is a devotee. He is not attached, he is not detached. But he is following the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing, not show off. And then he tells this verse which Prabhupada quotes. Antare nishtha kara bahya loka vyavhar. Achirata Krishna tomaya karibe uddhar. Within your heart, you should keep yourself very faithful, but externally you may have behave like an ordinary man. So this is what exactly Dhruva Maharaj did. Thus Krishna will soon be very pleased and deliver you from the clutches of Maya. So that's how Prabhupada is quoting this particular verse, saying that wherever we are, sthane sthitaha, we should have this cultivation, antare nishtha kara loka vyavhar. So this is the transcendental position can be achieved only by devotees. Why? Because others, they try to artificially control their senses by force. So Krishna consciousness is not like that. It's engagement. It is not escaping or enjoying. It is engaging the senses, right? Without the poison. Poison means attachment will be there. If there is no poison, or one is consciously trying to avoid poison, then there won't be attachment. So devotees, even though possessing full sensory powers, do not use them because they engage in higher transcendental activities. This is a very important thing Prabhupada is telling. Manyamana idam vishwam maya charitam avidyarachitam swapnam gandharva nagaropamam. Yes.
Real Dhruva Maharaj realized that this cosmic manifestation bewilders living entities like a dream or
Phantasmagoria.
phantasmagoria. because it is a creation of the illusory external energy of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. So just as we discussed before, Prabodhanand Saraswati, same thing. He got this full realization. Manya Manaha means what? जानता नहीं मान लिया है उन्होंने. Manya Manaha. This is material world is all glitter, grammar is all maya, all temporary, it is all. It's like Gandharvapur, Gandharva Nagar. Why? Because Avidya has made this and it is like a dream. So let me do my duty in the dream so that I will come out of the dream. So the dutifulness is very important. It's a beginning of devotion, actually. To do duties, whosoever one is, husband, wife, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, he has to know his duty because duty is prescribed in scripture. His yajna, his dana, his tapa, what he is supposed to do. He should strive to do that. That is the process of Krishna consciousness. And if one doesn't do his duty and then he wants to do someone else's duty, that is a big problem. That is will not lead to proper this realization which is being said here. Manyamana. You could fully understand. It is like a phantasmagoria, but behind this shadow creation there is reality, the spiritual world. A devotee is interested in the spiritual world, not in its shadow. Since he has realization of supreme truth, a devotee is not interested in this temporary shadow of truth. So it is one thing to not be interested in temporary shadow of truth. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Param Drishta Nivarta. So that's how one has to start seeing it as a reflection and the experience also of pleasure of reflection. All relationships, one may have affection in Vatsalya towards son, but the pleasure is the reflection of Yashoda and Krishna. This is how he thinks. Or he is having pleasure in husband-wife relationship. But this is all reflection of the original Adiras. Or he is having friends where he is relishing. But he sees this is all reflection of the friends of Krishna and the gopa. So everything in the spiritual world is reflected here. So he sees like that. So that's how he may engage in it according to his duty and regulation, but he will not become attached. So that's what Mahaprabhu also told him. So what further happened? Amantrita आत्मन्त्रतप्तो सुहृदो बलमद्धकोश अन्तःपुरः परिवारभुवश्च रम्याः भूमण्डलं जलधिमेखलमालकलय्य कालोपसृष्टमिति यः स प्रययौ विशालम्.
Thus, Dhruv Maharaj at the end left his kingdom, which extended all over the earth and was bounded by the great oceans. He considered his body, his wives, his children, his friends, his army, his very comfortable palaces, and his many enjoyable pleasure grounds to be creations of the illusory energy. Thus, in due course of time, he retired to the forest in the Himalayas known as Badrikashram.
Yeah. So he had all these enjoyments, but how did he see them at the time of leaving? This is all creation of illusory energy. So then he left to Badrikashram. Right? So they are all affected by time, they are temporary. So I'll leave now. So he had all this. Whatever you can see, whatever one is thinking in this world, everything is there. There were Antapura Parivirahara Bhuva. Like earlier, Uttanapad Palace description we read elaborately, right? Here it is not described. Here one verse is told. He was there in all these places, but he was knowing what is the reality of that. So Dhruva Maharaj, in the beginning of life, he realized, that time only he went to forest, right? And he realized about this bodily pleasures. Like first verse only he says, "Na yanta pravishya mama vacham." So later he ruled the kingdom, and now again he is going back. He realized that everything is creation of illusory. So that time he got realization. Now with realization, he did his duty. Now complete realization. From the acts of Srila Dhruva Maharaj, we can understand that somehow or other, if one becomes Krishna conscious, it does not matter what is his motivation is in the beginning. He will eventually realize the real truth by grace of love. So this is hope for us, as I was telling previously also, that we may begin or we may continue initially with some material desires. But we have to continue. The process is very powerful. Know the process, continue with the process. Because Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, all your desires will be fulfilled. So, but we have to see what desires we have, because we cannot fulfill it, we cannot deal with it, but we can be honest with ourselves and Krishna and spiritual master. So perfection of life, samsiddhi, can be achieved only by devotees. The others, like even if one contemplates on minute percentage of bhakti and falls down from, so neha vikraman nanashosti. So Prabhupada is quoting 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita actually. What is means 6th chapter and of course 2nd chapter neha vikraman nanashosti. But even if one begins this process, he is not completed, he didn't reach Siddhi. But he will eventually reach Siddhi without any doubt. So what this verse says, what Prabhupada is quoting is, even if there is insignificant effort, or even if there is incorrect or incompleteness, still he has begun the path, he will never have inauspicious. So 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, at the end there is this question that अरे जो योग करता है उसका घर का ना घाट का होता है क्या? भौतिक भौतिक रिलेशनशिप, भौतिक लाइफ को छोड़ दिया, he didn't attain the spiritual purpose, it is riven cloud. Krishna says no. If a person, because of laxity in practice, because of his material desires, he goes to the Swarga and gets the best facility to fulfill those desires. And he remains there, not Shine Punya Martalokam Mission, till the time he becomes disgusted. And then he continues practicing Bhakti, Suchinam Shinada. Second one is little advanced, then he immediately takes birth in the families of Dhimatam and yoga teachers purposes. So there is no inauspiciousness for a person who has chanted Hare Krishna for regulative principle, in spite of having like whatever we have. So actually in the beginning means till the time of Nishtha stage. It's all beginning, because that's how this thing is there. So 17th verse. तस्यां विशुद्धकरणः शिववाविगाह्य बद्ध्वासनं जितमरुन्महसानरदाक्षः स्थूले दधार भगवत्प्रतिरूपैतत् ध्यायंस्तदव्यवहितो विसृजत् समाधौ. Yes, bro.
In Badrikashram, Dhruva Maharaj's senses become completely purified because he bathed regularly in the crystal clear purified water. He fixed his sitting position and by yogic practice controlled the breathing process and the air of life. In this way, his senses were completely withdrawn. Then he concentrated his mind on the Archa Vigraha form of the Lord, which is the exact replica of the Lord, and thus meditating upon him, entered into complete trance.
So here he is doing Ashtanga Yoga. One may get the doubt, why he is doing Ashtanga Yoga? That is also to set an example. And he completely, so Vishwanath Chalu Thakur says, he practiced Dharana universal. He meditated on the Lord. Okay, he writes in the next verse that to set an example he did this. Because that time, actually, if you see in Bhagavatam, even Yudhishthir Maharaj, and even Prithu Maharaj, and they all did this kind of thing, right? Because they were setting example even for the yogis who are there in the forest. They say, "Hey, king aa gaya, kya karega?" So they will do like them, right? So that's how Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, you can see here he writes, out of obligation he performed yoga for 2 or 3 days to respect proper conduct of yogis present there. Right? So this is how the respect all is this. Actually, he did not have any time for yoga. So hardly few days he did. Then he was completely absorbed. Right? So Dhruva was simply showing the common people the process of karma yoga that was in his life, and he left, and for householders, and Ashtanga yoga for renounced persons. So he was preacher. He was preaching but not speaking. Right? And anyone will come to speak, then imagine what he's going to tell. He will surely tell about bhakti, right? But he's showing by example. So that's what. So this is all Ashtanga yoga. Prabhupada also says the same thing. So Ashtanga Dhruva Maharaj was already accustomed. Because he did that on the name of Narada Muni also told him to do deity worship and meditation both, right? So he was accustomed for it. And now he went to solitary place. And Badrikashram, there are so many renounced people there, right? So many of them. Such a beautiful place. I happened to go there recently, last year. And Prabhupada is glorifying deities here. The incessant thought of the Lord as prescribed in Gita makes so Yoginam api sarvesham. He was Yoginam api sarvesham, but he was setting an example. And he experienced the Supreme Lord. So just let us read these words. Bhaktim harau bhagavati pravaha sanastra ananda bashpakalaya muhurardyamanah viklidyamana hridayah pulakam chitango natmanamasmaradasau iti muktalingah. Yes, so please read this last verse.
Because of his transcendental bliss, incessant tears flowed from his eyes. His heart melted, and there was shivering and standing of the hairs all over his body. Thus transformed in a trance of devotional service, Dhruv Maharaj completely forgot his bodily existence, and thus he immediately became liberated from
Bondage, yeah. So that's how he is experiencing bhakti, right? So that's what is explained, Ashta Sattvic Vikar, etc. And he was completely separated, Muktaling. So Prabhupada writes here that here he gives example of who is liberated. Liberated soul is like that coconut example is given here. So see, here Prabhupada is saying he was constantly engaged in Navvidha Bhakti. Then he developed the center. So like a coconut becomes dry, then the inside portion becomes free from the shell. So similarly, our gross body, subtle body, and the soul. So it's like that, The outer, that is like gross body, you can say the green portion, and the hard portion is like subtle body, and the inside pulp is like we ourselves. So completely detached. Otherwise, so difficult to remove, right? So the water of material desires is over, then it can become fully this thing. So that's what Prabhupada writes here. He was completely disconnected from body. Or Yudhishthir Maharaj has told, he merged his earth in universal earth. Means what? He never identified the earth of his body to be his. Like that. So Mukta Linga means liberated from subtle body. So liberation means liberated from subtle body. Because gross body, whether you want it or not, you will become liberated. You will give it up. Even if you don't want, you have to give up. But subtle body is what is to be given up. Because it sticks to us because of our this thing, aspirations. So that's what Prabhupada says. Mukta Linga means become real liberation means liberation from subtle body. So that's how and this Ashta Sattvic Vikar is the goal of practice. So that's what he experienced. Because therefore one has to become free from the subtle body also. That freedom is called Muktali. So that's what is this verse. So actually this particular section, now it's already 4:35. So from 17 to 35 is the section of his attaining the the Vimana comes, no, that section it is. He is ascending to Dhruva Loka. That is told. So Nanda and Sunanda will come. He will see the airplane in the next few verses. And then they bless him when he pleases. It's a very amazing action. That is 17 to 35. So some purports are there, but not many. It will go quickly. And then the last section. So I think tomorrow Krishna will try to discuss this remaining portion. So now in case, Prabhuji has questions. So officially we end here. In case someone wants to proceed, they may happily proceed. If someone wants to wait, they may wait happily. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I have two things. One thing is in comment and another is in question. So I'll put the comment first and then I'll put in question. See, you said that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that actually he did yoga for 2-3 days out of respect. So what an acharya, I mean to say he knows in and out, or he is going into that mood, or he is blessed by Lord to actually be in the pastimes or see it. Because no one will dare to comment these things, bro.
Yeah. Amazing.
He is blessed, huh? He is blessed, huh?
Huh?
He is specially blessed for this service, huh?
Yeah, because Rup Goswami is Rasacharya, you know. He has given such a profound commentary on Bhagavatam. It's amazing, bro. Very, very special.
Second thing, bro.
Thank you for appreciating him. You know, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is such a personality whom Prabhupada has taken maximum in Srimad Bhagavatam purports, actually, if you see.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it's very special for Bhagavatam.
In fact, when I went to Chennai, there I see a lot of appreciation of Vishwanath Thakur by His Holiness Bhanu Swami Maharaj. He has translated all of his books actually. So we hear about Vishwanath Thakur more about his points and his mood from Bhanu Maharaj here also. And in fact, probably nowhere in the whole,
very fortunate actually.
by the grace of God. Also, probably one thing many devotees might not know, that whole we were in ISKCON, but only in Chennai, is that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur disappearance day celebrated for 3 days there.
Haribo. And the great souls come and glorify his literature.
Yeah. Wow, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commentary or some book. Bhanu Maharaj also speaks on that. So there is a 3-day seminar which happens for Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Tirobhav Tithi. And they take one book. Maharaj will speak on one book about one of his contribution and speak on that, make presentation.
I am praying that I will attend that festival once. Last 2-3 years I have been getting the flyer, what all things will be discussed.
Very amazing, pure Krishna Katha, it goes there.
Actually, I expressed the desire to Radhesham Prabhu here. So let us see when we will celebrate. Acharya should be celebrated like this, discussing their literature. Not just
you can actually invite Bhanu Maharaj to come to Chennai and give Pune and give a 3-day seminar on some actually topic. That will be very nice. We can address to more people.
You please pray. That's the aspiration, but it will manifest gradually. Krishna will.
Yes. Thank you, Guru. So one more thing, as you were saying that there is some devotee who is preaching without speaking. So I was remembering our Ramanand Prabhu, and he told a very nice example. So, devotees, there were some question answers. Me and Sakinath Prabhu were the one who used to ask most of the question actually, in Bhakti Shastri and other places. So that time I remember he told one part regarding preaching, and devotee said preacher, and he is not preaching or he is preaching, and people are regarding that. So he gave a very nice example of Jesus. So, Jesus once told, he was giving a sermon. In the sermon, he said, we should preach 24 hours a day. And after his class was over, actually, then he went, took care of his donkey, gave him grass to eat, and he was washing his clothes. And then he was taking his normal things otherwise. He was taking food, then went for reading and all this. So one disciple came to him and he said, What is this? Jesus, you just said that we should preach 24 hours a day. Your class is over, and then you are doing other things. So where is your preaching? He gave a very nice statement. He said we should preach 24 hours a day, and if required, we can speak for some time.
Yes,
So that was what I remember this profound.
very true, Prabhu. This full story I heard for the first time from you. So all glories to Ramanand Prabhu also. We are missing
All
him.
glories, all glories, all glories.
So amazing. That's how Dhruva Maharaj is doing, na, that only. That he is doing, setting example. And he is focused in his practice of pure devotional service. So if there is someone, if something is there, then they may speak. Otherwise, Madhavendra Puri, you see what he was doing. So they are all like that. So generally, preaching is thinking to be, sitting on Vyasasana, speaking, that is actually a very exalted job and a very risky job. One can get murdered actually while sitting there because Rom Harshana Sutta was murdered on Vyasasana by Balramji. So actually, that's what we strive. And yes, so thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much. Thank you very much.
Anyone else has anything else about what we discussed today? Any comment, question, clarification, correction, reflection? Okay, so thank you all very much for your patient hearing. And this Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Prabhuji, he is, I heard that actually Jiva Goswami and Rupa Goswami, they appeared again as
Oh,
Baladev Vidyabhushan as a Tattvacharya and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur as Rasacharya.
oh, great. Oh,
So
great.
this Param Pujya Bhakti Padma Ms. Kamal Lochan Pawarle, he was telling. And I got one reference also in folio. There is Amsha of Rupa Goswami. Because
Oh, so.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the way he explains Bhagavad Gita, the exchanges of rasa or no, the emotions, it's amazing.
Mhm.
Not to
Yeah.
speak of Bhagavatam,
Yeah.
it's really out of the world. It's out of the world. This Rupa Goswami's follower. हरे कृष्णा सशील विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय श्रील
Jai.
प्रभुपाद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय ध्रुव
Jai. Samarpan Go Prabhu ki jai.
no, no, all the devotees who are hearing उनकी भी जय
Correct.
हरे कृष्ण थैंक यू